Well, hello. How is everyone? Here I am, live again for my Fertility Hot Seat. You guys are rolling on. So by now, you should be in the groove of what it is that I do every other Monday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, my Fertility Hot Seat. So those of you that are new to me, I'm Amy Raup. I am a women's health and fertility expert. I'm the best-selling author of that book, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. I've been in clinical practice for 17 years, helping thousands of women all over the world optimize their health, fertility, mindset, body, create the vessel that they want to bring this child through in, whether you're using your own vessel or not, but help you create the space for that. So I am not a medical doctor, let's be very clear, but I am a clinician. I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist. I'm an author, I'm all the things. I have a lot of clinical experience, so that's what I will be giving you advice from that space of my clinical experience. And all you have to do is ask to join me live, and know that when you do that, I'm going to invite you to come on live, and you're going to go live to all the people that follow me. And our live will also stay up on my Instagram TV, and other people will be able to access that and see it. And so your sharing will help so many. And then you also get a free 15-minute consult from me. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to answer questions like that, like KAW, if you want to come on live and ask me, but this is not a time for me to answer questions like that. This is my Fertility Hot Seat. So basically whoever asks to join me live gets to come on and share their case and what's going on, and I will give you a 15-minute consult and advice. So if KAW, sorry, if you want to come on live and request to join me live and we can talk about that, we can do it. And yeah, but so for right now, the seats are still open. They always take a few minutes to upload who wants to join live. So all you have to do is request to join me live, and then I will invite you on, and you're going to share with me what's been going on with you fertility wise. And I'm going to give you advice on what it is I think that you could do to better optimize your chances to get and stay pregnant. So let's see, are there any requests right now? Nobody has requested as far as I can see right now. So let's see. I'm just going to sit here and talk and let someone come on and join me. Let's see. Everybody wants to watch because, yeah, these are enjoyable. We get to unpack someone's case and see what's going on. And, I have a tendency to be able to kind of get to the nuts and bolts pretty fast of what it is someone needs to do to tweak or to better optimize their fertility, or to just stay in the receiving mode and allow this child to come through without much efforting, right? So everybody's case is so incredibly different. All right, come on, someone. What's going on? I see everybody's coming on and watching. Why isn't anyone asking to join? We got a little cold feet. I had my first of our March group coaching calls this morning. Some amazing cases in there. I just had this moment of realizing, like, my goodness, so many women are struggling with fertility challenges, and they are so different in all shapes and sizes. And what one woman needs, is so different than what another woman needs. And just all different ages, all different stories, all different histories. It's literally, it's a huge issue that is going on. Okay, we have some requests coming in now. It always takes some time, but whoever is asking to join, know that I appreciate your bravery and your courage, and that your story is going to help others too. So you're sweet. It's not a dress. It's actually like a romper. So fun, right? I'm still doing Rent the Runway because, like, why not? Okay. Deborah Steele, are you ready? I'm going to pull you in. Send a request. See. Okay. Did I do it right? Oh, yes. Yes.
Hi,
How are you? You
I'm
okay?
good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can. I can. I
Great.
can. Hi, nice to meet
Hi,
you.
nice to meet you too.
Tell me what's going on. How can I help?
So I am almost 42. I'll be
Okay.
42 at the end of the month. I successfully underwent IVF 3 years ago, and I have a
Okay.
daughter. As a
Okay.
result, she's 2. She
Congrats.
was my only embryo,
Oh,
and she's our little miracle. We just love her
okay.
to death. And at the time that I was doing IVF, my doctor really recommended um, doing another round to try to get more
Right.
eggs. And we decided not to do it because my insurance dictated that I had to do a transfer before we could do more. So we didn't do that. So here we are a couple of years later, and I would really love to give her a sibling. Um, so over the summer, actually, or like last spring, summer, I did 2 additional rounds of IVF and I did not respond to the stimulation medication.
Okay.
So didn't make it to retrieval.
Okay.
Um, my AMH had gone down and my FSH had gone up, and we did estrogen priming. And when the first time it didn't work, the doctor suggested, okay, we'll try this one other protocol, which I believe was, I'm blanking on it. But she was like, if this one doesn't work,
It was like Menopur, probably.
no, no, it was, oh gosh, I wish I had my notes with me.
It's
Um,
okay.
low dose, low
Yeah. Okay.
dose, um, something I was giving myself every 2 times a day. Um, Sorry that I don't remember that. But anyway, so she's like, if this one doesn't work, I just don't think that it's going to work.
Okay.
So it didn't work.
Okay.
Um, and in a way, it was kind of freeing to me because I was so stressed out about it that it's like, okay, well, science and technology really can't help me right now, but what can I do for myself in like a natural way?
Yeah.
So that happened in July, and I said, okay, I'm going to give myself the rest of the summer to kind of grieve. And then starting on Labor Day, I'm going to really change my diet and mindset. And that's kind of when I discovered you
Okay.
through my research. And I wasn't a bad eater. I just was more of a moderation eater. So I'd eat whatever I wanted, just
Right.
not that much of it.
Okay.
So in September, I really started changing. I started incorporating, smoothies, protein. I stopped the gluten, dairy, all the things so soy, all of that.
Yeah.
So I would say we've been really actively trying now I've been doing this for over 6 months.
Okay.
And obviously I've not gotten pregnant yet, but last week I did get some somewhat promising news. I had my blood work done just at my annual
Right.
physical, and I asked, can you just test my AMH level? I just want to see if
Yeah.
what I'm doing is having any
It's
impact,
working.
because I was
Yeah.
getting, really, the first couple weeks of the month, I'm hopeful and happy and excited. Then you're kind of nervous, and then when you know that your period is going to come, I would get kind of down. And this last month, I got especially down, which I really had not let myself do
Yeah.
previously. And my AMH level had almost doubled, but it wasn't very
Yeah.
big to
I'm
begin
sure.
with. But it went from like zero point 0.2 to almost zero point 0.5. So I
All
thought that
right.
was
That's very
somewhat
promising.
of a
Okay.
promising. But I will say, since I've been doing this sort of new diet, I don't even like the word use diet, way
Yeah, I
of
know.
eating.
Lifestyle, new
Yes.
plans. Yeah.
I had started getting some stomach issues, and
Okay.
I didn't know if I was, and that's part of the reason why I went to my physical. I was like, am I overloading my stomach?
Yeah.
Um,
Protein or anything. Yeah.
and she believed that maybe I have my stomach lining might be inflamed,
Okay.
but she didn't know if that was stress induced or the result of the higher protein, higher
Yeah.
fat
Yeah.
diet.
And what are the symptoms of the stomach issues?
So it's like upper stomach. So I would say like right here, right underneath
Okay.
my breasts. I was getting it a couple of times a month, some pretty intense pain, but no, and maybe like a little bit nauseous, but no, like it wasn't like intestinal, so it wasn't like diarrhea. It was
Okay.
just,
No bloating, just pain. No bloating or
no,
gas. Okay.
yeah, which made me a little concerned because it had happened multiple times a month.
Yeah. And was there like rhyme or reason? Could you say like, oh, whenever I eat X, then it happens, or no?
No, well, the first time it happened, it was after New Year. It was on New Year's Day, and I had, indulged the day
Yeah.
before. And so I thought, well, maybe it's that because, I haven't really done that in a while. I had like a cupcake and some things that I hadn't really eaten. But then the last time that it happened, I had eaten like salmon and roasted broccoli and sweet potatoes. And so
I
which is
wonder if
like,
like a little bacteria. Do you ever look at SIBO, the symptoms of SIBO, SIBO, small intestinal
mm-mm,
bacterial overgrowth? Um, doesn't quite sound like it because it's usually a lot of like bloating and gas
mm-hmm.
pain, like not so much episodes of sharp pain. It's kind of all the time, but um,
Yeah. And I had to stop doing the smoothies. It was just a little too hard on my
like too cold and
digestion.
raw.
No, I think it was just too much fiber or too raw or something.
Okay.
But I had stopped doing that prior to when this started happening.
And was that causing like diarrhea or
That,
gas
yeah.
feelings? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, but your bowel movements now are like daily, easy to pass, 1 feet.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
normal.
Okay. And what are you typically eating? Run through a day with me.
So in the morning I eat eggs with I have 2 eggs with red pepper, onion, and spinach. And then for lunch, I'll typically have like a soup or like a chili or chicken salad. And for dinner, I'll have like a protein, like a salmon or something like a sweet potato, and usually some sort of roasted vegetable.
Okay. And are you making everything yourself?
I make everything myself. I've got the butcher box. So
And the broth, are you like making your own
I
broths? Like,
make the broth. Yeah,
okay.
I've got the broth. And then for snacks, I'm doing like nuts and fruit or sometimes hummus with
Okay. And
vegetables.
is it more like nuts or beans than you used to eat in your past before you changed?
Probably more nuts than I ever used to eat
Yeah.
before.
It
But
could be that,
I'm doing
like,
the sprouted nuts. I don't know if
yeah,
that
okay.
makes
So
a
it
difference.
should. It technically should make a difference, but nuts and beans can be hard to digest too because of the lectins. And so
Hmm.
some people, like I noticed that, like it happened to me when I went paleo forever ago. It was like almonds started, all of a sudden I started flaring up my eczema and I couldn't figure out why I was
Yeah.
eating so clean, but it was like I was eating a ton of almonds. So that might be something to play around with for
Hmm.
you of like, maybe just keep it to like one serving a day of like nuts, you know what I mean? Instead of having that as your snack, maybe twice a day or whatever. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but like to start to pay attention or even try a day of like, okay, I'm going to do no nuts for a couple days and then
Hmm.
have them and see, do I get that pain, that reaction? Because it could be that, it could be it's like triggering something or just a little hard for your body to
Hmm.
digest. And then the other thing I would recommend too is like castor oil packs kind of like above, I say do below, but
Hmm.
do above your stomach too to see if that helps.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I had been doing them below.
Yeah, you could kind of
Yeah.
just move it around, like rub your whole belly with castor oil and then just kind of move the
Hmm.
heating pad around. And then what about supplements? What are you taking?
I'm taking vitamin D, the
Okay.
folate, um, the cod liver oil, and the liver pills that you
Okay. Okay.
suggest.
Try to add in maybe a digestive enzyme of some sort.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and I asked the doctor about it and she didn't really
Not gonna
say
happen.
much. I mean, it was kind of like I didn't get a whole lot out of that.
Yeah. I would do like betaine HCl. Thorn makes a good one.
Can you say that again? Betaine what?
Betaine, Betaine, and
Okay.
then HCl.
Okay.
I think Thorn or Seeking Health. I'm trying to see the bottle. I think it's Thorn. Thorn makes it. You could do just like one a day. Ideally you take them on an empty stomach before a meal, but see if that doesn't help
Hmm.
too. Um, and then with your period, any like clots or cramping or pain with ovulation?
No, and
No.
I have to say, like, since I've been doing not that I really had My diagnosis was diminished ovarian reserve. Oh, sorry, we're having we're having some renovations and upstairs, and it's dust. It's not
Oh,
smoke.
that's so funny.
Sorry.
It's okay.
What was I saying?
Since you started your
So
period, yeah.
yeah, so I was diagnosed with diminished ovarian reserve, and my periods have always been really normal, 28 to 30 days. I haven't really had bad PMS. A little bit after I had my daughter and my period came back, I was having some pretty bad cramps, but since then it's really gone away, and especially with this diet, I would say.
Okay. And you're seeing good signs of ovulation, like good
Mm-hmm.
juicy ovulation. Okay, good. And
Yeah.
what about your husband? And like, is he on any supplements too? Is he doing?
He just does like a daily multivitamin, and I would say his diet is not great.
So see if you could get him on. So wait, tell me, vitamin D, folate, cod liver. So you're
Oh,
not on a prenatal.
I also took the CoQ10.
Okay, CoQ10, but no prenatal for you.
No, I was just taking the folate.
Yeah, you could add in. So you could both do it, where you add in spirulina. I like the brand E3 Live, and it's good for sperm, but then it's like nature's multivitamin.
Mm-hmm.
There's no extra folate or anything, and then it's also like another serving of greens, which is actually pretty good for your
Yeah.
body too. I would add that in. I would add an E3 Live for both of you, and then if you can get him on either the liver pills or like a fish oil, maybe not the cod
Mm-hmm.
liver oil, would be helpful too, because let's not forget about him.
Yeah.
And okay, so E3 Live, castor oil, digestive enzymes. And then what's your mindset at? Like, where are you at on that part of things?
I think it comes and goes. I try to be pretty positive, but I also try to be really realistic.
Yeah, yeah. And so is there like a timeline that you have for yourself, or would you try and revisit fertility treatment,
Well,
or what is, yeah?
I don't know that I would try. I feel like I don't know that I want to go through IVF again.
Yeah.
The last couple of times I did it, it was really daunting.
Yeah.
Just with like you build yourself up and you go in, and then just every day to see the results it wasn't. But that being said, I am hopeful that I am improving my overall health.
Yeah.
But I've often thought like, well, am I gonna try, or should I give myself a timeline and say like, okay, if by this time it doesn't work, then that's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, everybody's different, right? I was just having a coaching call with one of my clients and talking about the perspective of like shifting from I have to do all these things to make a baby to, I'm doing these things for like a healthier version of me, and trusting that, like that I'll be guided to the next steps to get to baby if that's meant to happen,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like taking out the efforting a little bit piece of it. It's like, and then maybe that would open up the timeline for you that like, okay, well, I'm not going to change anything, but it'd be fun to add a baby. Do you know what I mean? Versus I have to do all these things. Like I see it though too, with like the CoQ10 and like all those things, like fine. But so you could say, okay, like at some point I can soften the reins, but am I ever going to go back to, the way, my diet used to be, or things like that. Or even at some point that, there's an 80-20 rule where, you have that moderate lifestyle. And yeah, someone just said, have you tried acupuncture? And that was going to be my next recommendation is doing acupuncture.
I have, and I did it throughout the IVF, but I have not done it since the summer.
Yeah, so that might be another nice thing to get back to, even if it's like a once a month or every other week, like whatever fits in your life that feels comfortable. And again, from that standpoint of like not trying all the things, like I think there's two parts. Like you want to be able to look back and say, I have no regrets. Like I showed up and I gave it my all. But then you also want to say like, but I don't want it to ruin my life. So it's like that thing where can you find that nice comfort level? And then also riding on the heels of like, and my AMH did go up significantly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't want to go through IVF again, but like maybe I'd entertain an IUI, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, who
Yeah.
knows, you know, there's that kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
of, and finding a doctor that does really believe in you. What area are you in?
I'm in Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's fairly, I think, easy, you know, as far as the
Yeah.
metropolitan area to find, like, you know, especially even the fertility doctor you were working with doing more of like a low stim, but you know, maybe there's an IUI or monitoring, or, you know, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing where you see, you know, what additional things you'd like to do or call in. But I almost think to like just let it unfold and just like, okay, if fertility really is an extension of health, and what I did do has actually improved my AMH, like, you know, I think you do then have reason to believe that what you're doing is positively impacting your
Yeah.
fertility. And I would just stay the course, you know. But it's like, yeah, exactly what, yeah, acupuncture and fertility is a byproduct of optimal health. Yeah, I'm sorry, I saw my team respond to the question. Um, but yeah, that's almost like the mindset I would just stay in for you. And it's like, I know you had fertility treatments to have your daughter, and I know obviously you're getting older, and like all the things that we're surrounded by mentally. But if you're still menstruating and ovulating, there's still a chance, you know. So keep remembering
Mm-hmm.
that too, that maybe this baby wants to do it differently, and maybe now the embryos do better inside of you versus
Mm-hmm.
outside of the petri dish,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the
And
hope.
yeah, that is the hope. And then also I was going to say, speaking of hope, is like surround yourself, as much as it feels healthy and not, again, not like too much work, of other stories of hope, like the stuff that we have on my
Mm-hmm.
website, or, you know, there's plenty of us out there doing that, but sharing these hopeful stories of women your age and older that are doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and not too much pressure on you, but like it is an option. It does exist, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and naturally pregnant, and it can happen. I know.
Right.
It's okay if you have to go.
Yeah. So I'm so
Do you
sorry.
have any last questions for me? You wrote
Uh,
down some things.
nope.
Yeah.
I really
Okay.
appreciate this, and I thank you so much for all that you
Oh, thank
do.
you. Well, thank you for being brave enough to come on here live too. I appreciate
All
that.
right.
So keep us posted, okay?
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Um, okay. Oh, that was such a nice story. Um, yeah, to go back to the fertility acupuncture, yeah, I try to always classify that as like, I don't really believe there's such thing as fertility acupuncture. I believe that acupuncture is acupuncture, and we are Chinese medicine doctors, and we diagnose and we treat what we see. Fertility thrives as an extension of that. Um, but yeah, and I think that was a good story too, of even for those of you guys that are still in it, the dietary changes alone almost doubled her more than doubled her AMH from a 0.2 to a 0.5. That's pretty significant, especially when we're told that that number should never change, especially as we're getting older. So she's what, 6 months, 9 months older, and her AMH went up by 0.3. So I think that's fairly significant. I wonder what her FSH is. I bet you it's improved as well. The digestive thing I think is interesting, and that's also why I'm working on my new book, and it should be out soon. We are self-publishing it, so the turnaround will be pretty quickly. And I'm self-publishing for that choice because of the turnaround. But a real reason I'm writing that, it's called the Egg Quality Diet, 100 days. You know, I can't remember the whole subtitle, but it's a 100-day diet, but basically. And you know, what I say in the book, and I think it's important to point out here too, is like the diet that I have mapped out, and Yes You Can Get Pregnant, is a great diet and a great starting point, and helps a lot of women with their fertility. What I notice though, when girls come to me, they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm following the diet, I'm doing everything, and Yes You Can Get Pregnant. And then if I have the opportunity to like look at their food diary or ask them more questions, they're eating like a lot of gluten-free packaged processed foods, or breads or pastas or crackers, and maybe they're eating too many nuts or too many beans or too many nightshade vegetables, too many grains, and still not enough protein, not 6 to 8 servings of vegetables, you know, which is what I highly, highly, highly recommend. And their macros are off, which means the macronutrient ratios. You know, I want you to be at like 40% fat, 25% protein, and whatever the rest is, carbohydrates, is that, sorry, 40 to 45% fat, 25 to 30% protein, and then 20 to 25% carbs. And a lot of people, their macros are not right. So in the Egg Quality Diet, what I did was I took everything I've learned from Yes You Can Get Pregnant, from Body Belief, from even my first book, Chill and Get Healthy, and really giving you an exact template of what to eat, because that's what I start to see is like, oh, they're not getting vegetables every meal, or they're not getting enough protein in, or they're eating too much of one kind of protein and not a variety. And so anyway, keep an eye out for that, because that could be like, this diet is working for her, but now she's starting to get some GI symptoms. And I wonder if something she's, eating too much of is actually aggravating, or she's not properly digesting everything. So the enzymes could help. Okay, guys, this was fun. I'm going to go because I have a 2:30 call. So I don't see a lot of questions and comments, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. So set the timer, set the reminder that if you want to be in my Fertility Hot Seat next week, just remind yourself to be live at 2 o'clock and then request to join me. And then we can work through your case just the same way we did just now with this woman. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.